People of Federal Republic of Nigeria have brought Nnamdi Kanu before this court for acts of terrorism. And my Lord, in the last few weeks or last few days, Nigeria has been a season of victims of victims of terrorism. But my Lord, this afternoon, this honorable court delivered its judgment in which the convict Nnamdi Kanu was found guilty and convicted of offences under Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act. He has accordingly been convicted and it is now to be sentenced. My Lord, the prosecutor has a duty to invite your Lordship's attention to a few points that will guide your Lordship in the sentencing. My Lord, by the judgment just delivered, this court has again affirmed the long-standing principle that whenever Nigeria as a nation is confronted with moments, actions, and events that pose grave danger to its existence, independence, and unity, the judiciary stands firm at the stabilizing force of the country, guided by the wisdom, courage, and integrity of judges who serve within that arm of government. Terrorism, my Lord, remains one of the gravest threats to humanity. It is among the most devastating of atrocities in human history. As the leader of the proscribed Indigenous People of Biafra, the convict, through his broadcasts on Radio Biafra and through the group Armed Wing, the Eastern Security Network, repeatedly attacked Nigeria and took active steps to desegregate the country. By the conviction of Nnamdi Kanu for acts of terrorism, it is clear that justice has been served to the thousands of innocent Nigerians who lost their lives as a result of the inciting broadcasts and violent activities of Eastern Security Network. Their blood of those who have died cries to heaven, and God in his mercies has given them justice. Justice has honored their cry. The families of more than 75 security officers who were murdered in the service of their fatherland will now find some comfort in this conviction. Those whose relatives were brutally killed and buried with counsel of the order of the convict here have not died in vain because justice has been done. My Lord, the record before this court are replete with the losses suffered by citizens of Nigeria residing in the interstates of Federation, citizens who through no fault of their own were forced to live in fear, had their businesses destroyed, and were reduced to paupers as a result of sit-at-home orders issued by the convict and violently enforced by the commanders of the ESN. Justice has today set them free from oppression and economic strangulation caused by the terrorist activities of the convict. The convict now knows that the law is greater than any individual. Therefore, justice has been done to him too, and that Nigeria has both the power and the capacity to punish anyone who, through deliberate, reckless acts of terrorism, seeks to divide the country by attempting to create the so-called Republic of Biafra by force out of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. My Lord, consequent upon the conviction, as nothing further remains but the lawful imposition of sentence. The punishment prescribed for the offences in counts 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 is death penalty. Pursuant to Section 1(2)(h) of the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act 2013, my Lord, with all sense of humility, I say, sir, as a prosecutor, that this court has no discretion in that regard, and that the only sentence that your lordship will impose for counts 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 is death sentence. This court has the power to do so, and with respect must do so. The language of the act is clear, and the court is urged to apply it strictly without deviation. For the offence under count 3, relating to membership of IPOB, a proscribed terrorist organization, the punishment is imprisonment for a term of not less than 20 years, in accordance with Section 16.3 of the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act 2013. We urge your lordship, in accordance to death sentence, to also pronounce and impose the sentence as prescribed by law, having found him guilty and convicted. For the offence under count 7, the punishment is 5 years imprisonment without the option of a fine, pursuant to Section 46 and 47 of the Custom and Excise Management Act, Cap C 45 Laws of Federation. In sentencing, this honorable court is obliged to consider the nature and gravity of the acts of terrorism committed by the convict. It was against, the acts of terrorism were against innocent Nigerians who reside in the southeastern states. It is also a terrorism act against Nigeria, whereby nobody felt safe and secure in Nigeria, having regards to the activities of IPOB and ESN. The court is urged to note that the company has shown neither remorse nor penitence for the innocent Nigerians who died as a result of his directives and incitements. He has demonstrated no respect for the administration of justice. His conduct, even within the court, has been marked by arrogance and a heart far removed from humility. When he was going out, he looked at me and said, God will bless me. He won't say God will punish me. He said, God will bless me. And I say, amen. Because I'm a blessed man. It is not him, a convict, who can now put a curse on me. He cannot do that. So in any event, my Lord, I'm not being personal, but I want to assure you that somebody in that position ought to show some penitence, ought to show some remorse, ought to throw away arrogance and self-serving attitudes. The court is further urged to take judicial notice of the fact that the convict established Radio Biafra, a broadcasting platform operating on several digital channels, including mobile radio, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp, blogs, and Instagram. It is a state media through which the offences were committed by making orders that prevent the commission of similar or related offences, including forfeiture, confiscation, or restrictions of the means used to commit the act of terrorism. As a form of preventive control, the prosecution praised this honorable court to impose restriction on the convict's access to digital devices, online accounts, or internet facilities. In other words, my Lord, anywhere he may be kept until his execution in obedience to the sentencing, if he has access to these devices, and they are cheap and easy and available everywhere in Nigeria, they will continue to be broadcast. Maybe he will claim he was not the one. At the moment, if you open to YouTube, you see a lot of rascals talking about the proceedings of the court, trying to twist and